Now, I'm profoundly delighted to take an opportunity to introduce our chief guest for today. He is a well-recognized figure in our city, and he's none other than Honorable Robert Lancia. Big round of applause for him, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Lancia served 2 terms in the Rhode Island House of Representatives. During his time in the House, he worked in a bipartisan manner to successfully reduce beach fees, ensure that fees charged to support 911 services were put into a restricted receipt account to do just that. And he also helped get a sex offender bill passed to protect our children, and also fought to make state government more transparent and accountable by introducing legislation that would have created the Office of Inspector General to root out waste, fraud, and abuse. He also fought for zero-based budgeting, line item widow, and voter initiatives. He is also a retired Navy chaplain and disabled vet, serving with the Navy Coast Guard, the Marines, as well as being the first exchange Navy chaplain with the Canadian military. During his time, During his time in the military, he was repeatedly reminded that service to others and self-sacrifice are the greatest achievements a person can accomplish. And being a person of faith, he learned that being a servant leader is the most important thing of all. His wife, Marianne, and he remain very active in the community as they believe that public service never ends. Behind every successful man, there is a woman. It's an old saying, but this is so true in their relationship. So true. For a woman to make a man success, it's very important that she has a similar winning temperament, and I know that Marianne has one. And both of them speaks the same language of values, leadership, and vision. And I'm so happy, so honored to have both of them here today. They both support local organizations that require both financial and personal commitment. They have worked with the state's most vulnerable, volunteering to fill backpacks for the annual Back to School celebration, participating in events that support school opportunities for all students like Latino, Dollars for Scholars, and hosting a holiday event that collects shoes and socks for the homeless. Robert Lancia is currently running as a Republican candidate for Rhode Island's 2nd District Congressional seat. And I'd like to tell you something very interesting fact about Robert Lancia. He's the best friend of India, and he promised to do an advocacy for India's permanent seat in the UN Security Council, make Diwali a national holiday, and change immigration laws to make it easier for all the skilled workers. So ladies and gentlemen, please, huge round of applause is much needed for our chief guest, Robert Lancia.
Well, this has been quite the afternoon, and I think we're only half done. There are some extraordinary people on that stage, I gotta say, and I'm proud to know many of them personally. And yes, you know, I got elected to the Rhode Island House of Representatives in 2015, and my wife and I were walking at the South Lawn entrance of the State House, and there was an activity going on, and it happened to be an annual observance of India Independence Day. And someone said, would you and your wife like to come over and meet some people? And we did. And guess what? We got more and more and more involved. And today, we're essentially, I'll tell you, Mr. and Mrs. India. That's what we are. Okay? Now, I'm also going to tell you that I would love to take your phones when you have a minute, and I'd like you to go to Twitter, and I'd like you to look up at Bob Lancia, because I just put out a series of tweets specifically for the Indian community, and I'll be doing a few more. I was one of the principal speakers at the Hindu Path Fundraising Gala. Last week I was at a volunteer senior organization. I'm here today. And next week I will be at a service organization as a guest speaker, and I'm proud to be here today. And I think we may be a little talked out at this point, so I'm going to be really brief. But I do want to make a couple of quick points that I think are important. And I get my time and my time with you. So these are the couple of points I'm going to make. I'll try to keep it brief and quick so it's worth your time. There's a book that just came out. It's an anthology. And the title of the book is Kamala Harris and the Rise of Indian Americans. Great title, right? Well, in this particular chapter, here's a little quote that I think is really apropos to today and everything everyone's doing. And this is what it says. It says that America, of course, is one of the most philanthropic countries in the world. It makes the point that there are 4 million Indian Americans in the United States. And it is a community that has one of the highest median household incomes of any immigrant group. I'm personally not surprised. Also, the community includes successful entrepreneurs, prominent CEOs, physicians, healthcare professionals, noted academicians, and other professionals. And the book writes, they're saying we are a young, growing, well-educated, and socially aware group. And they make the point that Indian Americans are great at donating their time and volunteering. In fact, Indian American volunteering is twice the American average. So you gotta give yourselves a hand clap on that one. Twice the American average. Amazing. But you know, one of the things is, and again, I'll keep this brief. Everyone's spoken, there's a lot of talking that went on. And you know what a communication expert says? He wrote that we only remember 5 to 10% of what we hear. Think about that. Everybody's spoken, everything going on. We probably only retain 5 to 10%. But we retain 90% of what we do. So there's doers, the kids are doers. We're going to remember this. Because it's not talk, it's action, isn't it? And okay, simple technique. I want you to remember about what I'm saying today. So I'm going to do 3 quick points, because that's what they say. Make it brief, keep it big. Point number 1. Focus on one narrow point to your topic. My topic is the greatness principle. The greatness principle. That's my point. Number 2, we want to evoke some emotion, because you remember that too. And you know, when we see the dance and the kids performing, I'll tell you, that evokes emotion in me and my wife, Mary Ann. It's so exciting. It touches us deeply because we know how hard you work. We were there last week when they did this cultural tour de force. Let me tell you, a trip around the world with all kinds of dancers, Indian kids doing it. And we found out they had worked for 6 months preparing this, dedicated every day. So that evokes some emotion in us. But third and finally, we want everyone to be involved. All of you here. And you've been very kind and very tolerant and have a great time here. But let me tell you, the Flutie Foundation, a great organization. I know him as an athlete, but now, of course, studying for today, I know a little bit about the organization. Great work. Most of the money goes to the organization. It's not wasted on top-heavy whatever. It goes directly, and I love that. And it talks about education and employment and physical activity, social activity, in an environment that is safe, supported, and informed. And that's so important. But let me just say this. Everyone in here today, I think you and I, we all want to live a great life, don't we? Yeah. We want to live a great life. And you know, for some people I say, you know, if I can only be rich, if I'm successful, I'll be rich. Other people say that fame, I want to be famous. If I'm famous, I'll achieve immortality. And other people say that I just want to have power. I want to have power. Those people, though, that's what they want. But let me tell you, everybody, all of us, want greatness. And you know what? We want to make a difference. We want to know people to know we live. We made a difference. We want to make our mark. We want to be remembered for something beyond the average. We want to be great. So Henry Nouwen, who was a great philosopher, a Dutch theologian, he wrote this, and this is so interesting. He said, nobody escapes being wounded. We are all wounded people, whether physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. The main question is, do we hide our wounds so we're not embarrassed? Or can we put that woundedness into service of others? And you know what? That's how we not only heal, but we in fact become wounded healers, wounded servants. And you know what? My wife has a great expression, my wife Mary Ann. She says, this is her expression, you hit from where you sit. You hit from where. So depending on your circumstances, that's how you're going to operate. And it happens to all of us. You know, and last week, I was the chief guest for the organization focused on seniors. And this week, an organization focused on autism. And next week, I'll be a chief guest in an organization for a Hindu faith-based humanitarian nonprofit organization that happens next week to be raising funds for the Ukraine. Great cause. But all great causes, I believe, first and foremost, are grounded in faith, whether it's the Hindu faith, the Christian faith, any of those faiths. But let's also be clear, no matter what anyone does, we also have to take care of ourselves, don't we? We've got to take care of ourselves. So let's recap. Almost done. Number one, what's my point? Greatness. We all want to be great, however we achieve that. And Abhishek Singh, I have to say, I've gotten to know him so well. That is a great young man. Going places. I don't know where he's going, but he's going someplace special. He's a young man on the move. Number two, evoking emotion. I think there's been plenty of it today. Deeply touching all of us in so many ways. But third, involving everybody. So whether it's here or the senior organization last week or the service next week, I want you to participate. Why? Because you know what? It's part of the proud tradition of the Indian American diaspora, and you mentioned that. Volunteering hours, again, twice the American average. That's incredible. Be proud of yourselves, because you know what? I am, my wife is, and you will continue to make a difference and make your people proud. And you deserve a hand clap to yourselves. Absolutely. And I am literally done, but again, at Bob Lancia, and also, I am running for office, and I do have some initiatives specifically to the India people, because you know what? You need advocates. And Bob Lancia and his wife Mary Ann, you will have no better friend, especially when we get elected to Congress in November, than Bob Lancia. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom, and we had so many takeaways for today. I'm sure that each one of you. So, his wisdom is really quintessential for students who aspire to be like him one day. And all the takeaways, I still need to go in and check my notes, because those were the words of wisdom, and I know that if we follow them consistently, it's going to be a great breakthrough, and it's definitely going to help us serve our purpose in so many ways. So thank you so much for motivating us, Robert, and just for being light, for being an example of light in the darkness. Thank you so much.